Hey there, science fans! Today we're diving into the exciting world of percentage composition. It might sound complicated, but trust me, it's not. It's like figuring out the ingredients of your favorite snack, but instead of flour and sugar, we're looking at atoms and molecules. Percentage composition tells us what elements are in a compound and how much of each one is there. This is super useful for identifying unknown substances, checking the purity of chemicals, and even understanding how different compounds interact with each other. Think of it like baking a cake. You need to know exactly how much flour, sugar, and eggs to add to get the perfect cake, right? Well, chemists need to know the exact percentage of each element to understand how a compound will behave. It's all about ratios. So put on your lab coats, grab your calculators, and let's unlock the secrets of percentage composition together. Before we can calculate percentages, we need to know what we're working with. Understanding the basic building blocks of compounds is essential. Every compound has a chemical formula that tells us which elements it contains and how many atoms of each are present. This formula is like a recipe, giving us the exact proportions of each ingredient. For example, water is H2O. That means it has 2 hydrogen atoms, H2, and 1 oxygen atom, O. This simple formula is the key to understanding water's properties. Counting atoms is easy. Just look at the subscript number written after each element symbol. These subscripts are crucial for determining the exact number of atoms. If there's no number, it means there's only one atom. This is a common convention in chemical formulas. Let's try it with carbon dioxide, CO2, 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. This simple notation helps us understand the composition of the molecule. Sometimes you'll see parentheses in a formula. These group atoms together, and the subscript after the parentheses tells you how many times that entire group appears. This is especially useful for more complex molecules. For example, calcium nitrate is CaNO3 This means we have 1 calcium atom, 2 nitrogen atoms, 2Xn, and 6 oxygen atoms, 2X3XO. Understanding this helps us grasp the molecule's structure. See, deciphering chemical formulas is a piece of cake. With practice, you'll be able to do it effortlessly. Now that we know how to count atoms, we can move on to the next step, finding atomic masses. This will further deepen our understanding of chemical compounds. Every element has a unique atomic mass, which tells us how heavy one atom of that element is. We can find this information on the periodic table, our handy-dandy guide to all the elements. Let's look up hydrogen, H, on the periodic table. We'll see its atomic mass is about 1.008 atomic mass units, AMU. Oxygen, O, has an atomic mass of about 16.00 atomic mass units. These numbers are tiny because atoms are incredibly small. Don't worry too much about what AMU means right now. Just think of it as a tiny unit of mass for atoms. The important thing is that we can use these atomic masses to calculate the total mass of each element in our compound. Now that we know how many atoms of each element are in our compound and how much each atom weighs, we can figure out how much each element contributes to the total mass. It's like weighing the ingredients for our cake separately. Let's go back to water, H2O. We know it has 2 hydrogen atoms, 2XH, and 1 oxygen atom, O. We also know the atomic mass of hydrogen is about 1.008 atomic mass units, and oxygen is about 16.00 atomic mass units. To find the mass contribution of hydrogen, we multiply the number of hydrogen atoms by the atomic mass of hydrogen. 2x, 1.008 atomic mass units, equals 2.016 atomic mass units. For oxygen, it's 1x 16.00 atomic mass units, equals 16.00 atomic mass units. This means that in a water molecule, the hydrogen contributes about 2.016 atomic mass units and the oxygen contributes about 16.00 atomic mass units to the total mass. Section 5. Molar mass, weighing in on the molecular level. The molar mass of a compound tells us the mass of 1 mole of that compound. A mole is just a really big number of atoms or molecules, kind of like a dozen but way bigger. It's like buying a whole bag of flour instead of just a cup. To calculate the molar mass of a compound, we simply add up the mass contributions of all the elements in the compound. For our water example, the molar mass would be 2.016 AMU for hydrogen plus 16.00 AMU for oxygen, which equals 18.016 AMU. This means that 1 mole of water weighs about 18.016 grams. Knowing the molar mass is crucial for many chemical calculations, including percentage composition. It's like knowing the total weight of our cake before we can figure out the percentage of each ingredient. Section 6. Percentage composition, the formula for success. This section is crucial for understanding how different elements contribute to the overall mass of a compound. Finally, we're ready to calculate the percentage composition. This is an essential skill in chemistry that helps us understand the makeup of various substances. This tells us what percentage of the total mass of a compound comes from each element. It's a fundamental concept that allows chemists to analyze and predict the properties of compounds. It's like figuring out what percentage of our cake is flour, sugar, or eggs. Just as in baking, knowing the exact proportions is key to achieving the desired result. To calculate the percentage composition of an element in a compound, we use the following formula: mass of element in compound divided by molar mass of compound times 100%. This formula is straightforward but incredibly powerful. Let's calculate the percentage composition of hydrogen in water. This example will help us see the formula in action. We know the mass of hydrogen in water is 2.016 AMU, and the molar mass of water is 18.016 AMU. These values are essential for our calculation. Plugging these values into our formula, we get 2.016 AMU divided by 18.016 AMU times 100% equals 11.19%. This calculation shows us the exact contribution of hydrogen. This means that hydrogen makes up about 11.19% of the total mass of water. Understanding this helps us appreciate the role of hydrogen in the compound. We can do the same calculation for oxygen and find that it makes up about 88.81% of the total mass. This comprehensive understanding of composition is vital for any chemist. Section 7. Real-world chemistry: glucose and iron 3, sulfate in action. Let's try some real-world examples to solidify our understanding. By applying the principles we've learned, we can see how these concepts work in practical scenarios. First up, glucose, C₆H₁₂O₆, the sugar that gives us energy. This simple sugar is crucial for our metabolism and is found in many of the foods we eat. Following the steps we've learned, we can calculate the percentage composition of each element in glucose, a fundamental skill in chemistry. Carbon 6 times 12.01 AMU divided by 180.16 AMU times 100% equals 40%. This means that carbon makes up 40% of glucose by mass. Hydrogen 12 times 1.008 AMU divided by 180.16 AMU times 100% equals 6.71%. Hydrogen, though light, is a significant part of the glucose molecule. Oxygen, 6 times 16.00 AMU divided by 180.16 AMU times 100% equals 53.29%. Oxygen is the most abundant element in glucose by mass. Now let's tackle a more complex compound, iron 3 sulfate, Fe2SO43. This compound is often used in water treatment and as a coagulant. Don't let the parentheses and subscripts scare you. They simply indicate how many of each atom are present in the compound. Just remember to multiply the subscripts outside the parentheses by the subscripts inside. This will help you accurately determine the number of each type of atom. Iron 2 times 55.85 AMU divided by 399.88 AMU times 100% equals 27.93%. Iron is a key component of this compound. Sulfur, 3 times 32.07 AMU divided by 399.88 AMU times 100% equals 24.06%. Sulfur plays a significant role in the structure of iron 3 sulfate. Oxygen, 12 times 16.00 AMU divided by 399.88 AMU times 100% equals 48.01%. Oxygen, once again, is the most abundant element by mass in this compound. As you can see, percentage composition helps us understand the composition of even complex compounds. This knowledge is essential for chemists in both academic and industrial settings. Section 8. Handling chemical quirks, parentheses, subscripts, and hydrates. We've already touched upon parentheses and subscripts, but let's recap. Parentheses group atoms together, and the subscript outside the parentheses tells us how many times that group appears. Subscripts, on the other hand, indicate the number of atoms of a specific element. Hydrates are compounds that contain water molecules within their crystal structure. For example, copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate is written as QSO4 5H2O. This means that for every 1 QSO4 unit, there are 5 water molecules associated with it. When calculating the percentage composition of hydrates, we need to include the mass of the water molecules as well. We treat the water molecules as a separate unit and calculate their mass contribution like any other element. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you work with chemical formulas and percentage composition, the easier it will become to handle these quirks. Section 9. Mastering Percentage Composition. A summary and formula for success. Congratulations, chemistry champions. You've mastered the art of percentage composition. Let's recap the steps. 1. Write the correct chemical formula. 2. Determine the number of atoms for each element. 3. Find the atomic mass of each element from the periodic table. 4. Calculate the mass contribution of each element. 5. Calculate the molar mass of the compound. 6. Use the percentage composition formula, mass of element in compound divided by molar mass of compound, times 100%. Remember, percentage composition is a powerful tool that helps us understand the world around us, from the food we eat to the medicines we take. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the spirit of science alive.